Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new PNSO release, and one that's definitely quite different from many of the others we've had recently. This is the CAUDIPTERYX, and this one is super cool and a very welcome addition to my collection. I cannot wait to see if they release some other species like this, because I would be so happy to see it. You can see the front of the box does have, again, the PNSO logo, nice shot of the figure, and then of course the species name and everything. Different shot of the figure over here on the side. Basically the same thing we had seen on the other side, and then some information over here, and of course a nice little shot up here on the top of the head of our CAUDIPTERYX. So let's go ahead, pop this box open, and check it out. So first of all, one thing that's really good is we do have a stand, and of course that's always important to have in case your dinosaur has any stability issues in the future. We've also got a PNSO booklet like we usually do, which of course is going to feature some beautiful artwork as well as, you know, photo galleries and stuff like that. All sorts of really cool stuff in the booklets. Again, something that's definitely a really good read if you are interested. I highly recommend checking these out. And then we also have a poster, as we usually do, so let's go ahead and see what we've got going on. Oh man, beautiful artwork, no doubt about that, if I can keep a hold of it. And there you go, you can see again a really nice image of the dinosaur just kind of walking along. Maybe a nice pond or something there in the background, but that is fantastic. Definitely a frame-worthy poster. And then here is our CAUDIPTERYX itself, and first of all, it stands pretty nicely. Again, you have the stand in case it doesn't stay standing too well, but that's of course, you know, a last resort, I would think, or just, you know, something that you might want to use to keep your mind at ease when it comes to the figure and making sure it doesn't fall. But starting here in the head sculpt, you can see we've got a really nice looking head sculpt here. You can see a little blue as you lead up there toward the snout, a nice brown there on the end. You've of course got the nostrils sculpted out, the mouth itself as well. We can see a little red there around the eye. The eye itself actually has a nice red with a black pupil and a gorgeous gloss coat. We start to really pick up some nice feathers as we move back into the head. The head overall has a very bird-like look and of course a nice peaceful look as well. And we can see the feather detail looking honestly mind-blowing. Like, it is really, really well done. The sculptors at PNSO really spent some significant time making sure that this one looks incredible. You can see some nice browns moving down through the throat of the dinosaur, and of course some variations of color as you move around. You have some like really dark tones as you move back from the head, even some browns mixing in as well as some blues. As we move down to the bottom of the neck, you can continue to see how good the feather detail looks. Like, that is super impressive. That might be some of the best feather detail I have ever seen on a dinosaur model like this. You start to pick up a dark blue, but still a pretty vibrant blue as you move down. You can also see again some more variation of color as there are darker tones, even like really dark grays and maybe even some blacks that kind of transition back and forth very nice and naturally. As we move down into the arms and out here into the wings, we can see again some more really nice plumage as we lead down, continuing to have again those dark tones. As we lead through though, we lead out here into what would be like flight feathers, and those feathers have really vibrant and flashy colors, but very natural at the same time. You can see some whites and some yellowish browns, and as you move down, darker browns as well as some black that kind of runs in patterns through. And again, the feather detail looks really nice and really crisp as we lead through. There's also some whites that kind of highlight the ending there to the feathers, and it also has a bit of a shine, which you can see, and some feathers do have that sort of shiny look to it, so that's also a really nice touch. As we move back here, again, you see more super nice looking feather detail, more of the bluish tones. You can even kind of make out some musculature as you lead back here into the leg in both the thigh and calf region. You can see the knee if you look here from the front. We can also see all sorts of variations of browns moving down through the front of the dinosaur as you lead down from the throat into the chest and down into the early part of the stomach. We have a nice light brown, but then you pick up some darker browns as you move down to the insides of the thighs and the insides of the calves and everything. As we lead down further, we can see the skin pick up here as we lead down into the lower part of the legs. We have some nice brownish tones in the back, as well as a nice wash when you turn it around to the front, kind of like a light wash, which definitely helps to make some of the detail pop. and we have a darker tone for the toes. And of course you can see that it is currently walking along with the feet picking up off of the ground, and you could really see again like how emu-like the feet look. So anytime you go to the zoo and see an emu, just remember how dinosaur-like emus really are. The claws are sculpted nicely. They have a bit of a genuine sharp look to them, and they are painted with a black. And then we move back up here, and we lead out into this nice short tail. As we lead out, we do transition to a brown. And then, of course, we return back to those really flashy feathers like we had seen in the wings earlier on, with, again, all sorts of different shades of colors. And then, of course, that nice kind of striping with the black as you lead out. Really smooth transitions as well. You can see a lighter tone for the insides of those feathers with a brownish wash, it would appear, which also looks pretty good. When you look at it from the opposing side, the dinosaur does have its head turned away from us and also in an upward position, like maybe something just caught his attention kind of up in a tree or something. Same sort of paintwork, of course, same sort of detail. It's not that drastic of a turn that it would have a severely different look from one side to the other. As you lead down, you can see that the arms / wings are in pretty much the same position again over here as what we had seen on the first side. As we lead down, though, the leg is definitely taking a step forward here. The leg is actually planted, so you can see again how beautiful and bird-like that foot sculpt is over here on this side. And of course the fact that the leg is picking up on the other side. You can even see dew claws and everything over there. And then you lead out again into the tail. You have the darker brownish tones here on the underside. When you look at the undersides of the arms, you can see again some of the skin texture moving down here along the underside of the arm, some of the dark browns, and then of course the fingers as well as the claws. And the claws are again painted with a dark tone. And you see the same for the opposing hand over there, as well as again that light brownish wash that we have there on the undersides of the lighter areas of the feathers. But that is an absolutely gorgeous PNSO release, maybe in my opinion one of the best we've had in a while. As far as the size goes, lengthwise you're looking at not much in the way of a length, about 4 3/4 inches or 12 centimeters. You're going to have more in the way of a height than anything, and you were looking at a little bit over 5 1/4 inches or around 13.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect A human being next to our PNSO CAUDIPTERYX, and you can see it's pretty decently sized, but by no means is it a large figure. So definitely something that I kind of feel like everyone was expecting was this one not to be all that large, but still, honestly, it's a little bit bigger than I was expecting. And when it comes to this species, I have only one other version of it in my collection, and that is the Safari Ltd. Carnegie Collection version, which we can see here next to the PNSO release, and honestly, they're pretty much the same size. So if you do have the Safari version, then you're already going to have a pretty good idea of the size of this PNSO release. Here as well is a Mattel Velociraptor, which you can see is a bit shorter. Then for just a totally random PNSO comparison, we have their Giganotosaurus, which as you can see, the CAUDIPTERYX is quite a bit smaller. And then just a few more randoms. Here is the Safari Ltd. Eutyrannus, which you can see is a bit smaller. The Schleich Diabloceratops, which as well is a bit smaller. And finally, the Collect A Deluxe Dimetrodon, which as well is a little bit shorter for sure, but kind of similar as far as like overall size goes in a way. The Dimetrodon wins a bit in the length department, but they're not too far off, I guess, as far as the size. If there are any other comparisons you would like to see, definitely let me know, because this is a tough one since I don't really have any other figures outside of the Safari version to compare with it when it comes to this species. So this brand new PNSO CAUDIPTERYX is absolutely gorgeous, and honestly, it's one of my favorite releases to come from them in a very long time. This is definitely the best version of this species that I can think of out on the market. Again, you know, when it comes to model creators like PNSO, Safari, and stuff like that, again, they're the only two that I know of that has released one, and this one is definitely better than the Safari Ltd version, even if that one was really good for its time. But this has absolutely incredible feather detail, some of the best I've seen. It also has fantastic paintwork with really nice, really smooth transitions. It has a nice shine to it overall when it comes to like the feathers kind of having almost an iridescence in certain angles, and the feathering and the way that the feathers are again colored out there on like the tail feathers and the flight feathers. It looks so nice and so flashy, and overall I would say the entire color scheme they've chosen for this looks extremely natural. So they did a great job on the sculpt, the fine detail, the paintwork, even the pose is really well done. It's nothing overly flashy, but nice and natural altogether. So without a doubt, this in my opinion is a definite must-have have. So if you are interested, I will include a link in the description to where you can purchase this from PNSO right now. So make sure you check those links. Definitely pick this up and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.